Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Bald Metal Nerd coming at you with another video in my awesome Megadeth series. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the 2001 release, The World Needs a Hero. And Megadeth released this as their follow-up to Risk, and due to the failure of Risk, they decided to go in a heavier direction on this album. And it is definitely a step up from Risk, but it's not quite up to par with their classic albums. Now, this album was the last one to feature Jimmy DeGrasso on drums and the only one to feature Al Pitrelli on lead guitar. And also, this is the first album since 1990 to feature the band mascot Vic Rattlehead on the cover. After this album, the unthinkable happened. Megadeth disbanded due to an injury that affected Mustaine's guitar playing. He thought he would never play guitar again. After he recovered, he intended to record a solo album that would later go on to become The System Has Failed. Now, Dave Ellefson wasn't in the band anymore after they disbanded, and there was a significant legal feud between the two Daves over royalties and rights to Megadeth's name and back catalog. And things got really ugly for a while, but eventually everything did get worked out, and Ellefson rejoined the band in 2010, but I'm jumping ahead of myself here. So how did Megadeth's first attempt to step back into metal fare? Let's find out. It started off with Disconnect. It's an average mid-paced song with a good groove. After that, you got The World Needs a Hero. It's a song with rather goofy lyrics and a somewhat boring mid-paced track underneath it for the first half. But then the music does improve quite a bit, but still, overall, the song is underwhelming. After that, you got Moto Psycho. It's a great, fast-paced anthem. 1,000 Times Goodbye follows that up. And it's a song with good music and lyrics by Mustaine, but unfortunately it's ruined by recordings of a woman saying lame breakup lines. If it weren't for those lines and a stupid lyric by Mustaine of "You suck," it would be a really good song. After that, you got Burning Bridges. It's a good mid-paced song with a great crunch. After that, you got Promises, which is an average ballad. Following that up, you got Recipe for Hate, Warhorse. This has a great intro on the song. And then there's an interesting spoken word part. It does go on for a bit long, but then the rest of the song turns into a great fast number. After that, you got Losing My Senses. It's an interesting song with a variety of tempos. It's a good song overall. After that, you got Dread in the Fugitive Mind, a great fast number. Following that, you got Silent Scorn. It's a nice instrumental interlude. Starts off mellow, it turns a little sinister, and then builds into something that almost sounds like a military march with some Latin horns thrown in. Very interesting. After that, you've got Return to Hangar, which is a great thrashy number. Of course, the main riff is very reminiscent of Hangar 18, but it's definitely a different sound than the original. It has a great crunch and rhythm work on this one. And then the last track is called When. The main riff is the same one from the Metallica song The Call of Cthulhu. But since Dave came up with that riff, it's fine that he used it. In my opinion, the riff is honestly repeated far too many times in the song, which makes the 9 minutes in this song take a while to elapse. The song does finally get interesting at around the 6.5 minute mark, but then it switches back to the same tired riff. Overall, the song is just okay. Now, on this album, Dave decided to return to Megadeth's roots somewhat by doing a much heavier album than he had done for a while, and he succeeds on some levels, as many of the songs are heavier than anything they'd done since Countdown, but some of the songs sound forced and just kind of plod along. I also wonder why they even put the first two songs on the album, as they definitely start the album out on a low note. It's definitely a step up from Risk, but it does fumble in some spots overall. The main problem is the album is just a bit too tepid overall. After Risk, what they really needed was just a comeback kick-ass album, but instead they come back with a slightly better album than Risk. It is a step in the right direction, but ultimately still a disappointment. Very similar to Metallica's Death Magnetic, but I digress there. Personally, I'd give it about a 70 out of 100. Get it if you're a Megadeth fan, as there are a number of good tracks on it. But if you're not a hardcore fan, feel free to give it a pass. Next up, I will be talking about The System Has Failed. So if you did like what you see in this video, do me a favor and watch my next Megadeth video. I will see you guys in